Yes, hi everyone. This is Ernest Vyamukama, ISM3, and I'm presenting to you the seminar series research, of which we did a research about the review of ChatGPT evaluations in higher education. In here, we were looking at what can ChatGPT do in line with higher education institutions. Like we took a case study of Muni University, and we are trying to evaluate, we are trying to review the evaluations. What have people talked about the use of ChatGPT in higher education institutions, like case study of Muni University. I'll go direct to the introduction, and we know ChatGPT, for those that have interacted with it, it has redefined the education objectives with the capabilities that span a multitude of education domains. Yes, the truth is, ChatGPT has changed most of the things. Students no longer go to books to do research. Maybe I should say, students no longer go to books to do courseworks, and what they are using, that the generative AIs that are there, especially ChatGPT, and they are doing the same things that they used to do when they went into books. So, what is our problem statement? The distract in educational methodologies as a result of the rise of generative AI in higher education institutions compromises the fundamental value of education, affecting both educators and students. Yes, as we continue to use ChatGPT, as we continue to use the generative AIs that are available, it really affects both the students and the educators, or and the researchers, I should say. And what is our main objective in this thing? We want to review the evaluation of ChatGPT in our education settings, but our case study, you should keep in mind that it is Muni University. So what are other objectives here? We want to assess the effectiveness of ChatGPT as an educational tool. Yes, some institutions, I should say, have implemented ChatGPT already. They're using it as an educational tool. So how effective is it? It's what we want to look at. Then we want to look at the impact of ChatGPT on the student learning outcomes, like how does it affect you if you have used ChatGPT from year one to third year? How does it affect you when you leave the institution, when you go into the business world? Then we want to explore the potential challenges and opportunities associated with integrating ChatGPT. Yes, as I've said, that some institutions have already integrated it. Yet, yes, it might not be in Uganda here, it might not be in Africa, but some institutions, since in Europe they have started implementing it, it means that even here in Uganda, there is a possibility that very soon that we shall have ChatGPT in higher education institutions like universities. And what was the methodology that we used? Yes, we used the databases, that is IEEE. We used Google Scholar. We used Communication and Mass Media Complete. Then we used EBS CO. Then how did we identify the papers? Our search string, or our main points, our keywords were ChatGPT, education, impact, artificial intelligence. So we looked at generative AI, education, impact, and then artificial intelligence. Then on the search, we came up with we got 154 papers, and then from the 154 papers, we looked at we screened them, and on screening we ended up removing 173 duplicates, and we kept with 81 papers. And in the 81, we excluded 67, looking at the literature review research, looking at the time interval that the research took, and looking at the language that they used, and looking at the relationship with the subject that we were looking at. That's how we ended up having 14 papers. And from the 14 papers, looking at the eligibility, we ended up excluding two papers were eliminated. And at the end of it all, we ended up with 12 papers. So the 12 papers were the ones that were included in quantitative and qualitative synthesis or analysis. Then what were the results that we came out with? In the results, first of all, we compared the ITS and ChatGPT. ITS, when I talk about ITS, I'm looking at the the teaching systems. Take an example of Cisco, take an example of Huawei, like those platforms where you can then you find that they are recorded classes, and then they are Okay, there are classes, you just attend classes online and then, but not with the help of AI. Then when I talk about ChatGPT, we're actually looking at the generative AI, where you just put in the your research topic and you get out the work out. So we looked at the functionalities, we compared the functionalities, and we looked at the DDK or detailed domain knowledge about the research or about the work, about the concepts, and you realize that Cisco, let's say I will keep using Cisco, you realize that Cisco can actually understand has some knowledge about what you're learning. Yes, because if it is Cisco and you're learning networking, it really targets networking. But ChatGPT depends on actually what you're looking at specifically. You realize that it will want you to specify, to go deep into the details of what you're actually looking for. Then when we look at the didactic strategies, or the strategies to come up with goals for what you're looking for, or for the topic, you realize that Cisco will be having the strategies and then ChatGPT will not be having the strategies. Then short-term student evaluation, Cisco can evaluate and ChatGPT can also evaluate. Error diagnosis, Cisco can diagnose errors and ChatGPT can only that at which percentage. I'll talk about it later. Then long-term user evaluation, possibly Cisco will do long-term user evaluation, of which ChatGPT won't do it. Then student modeling version, ITS can do it, or Cisco can do it, but then ChatGPT might not do it. Then the hard skills and the soft skills that you will need to use ChatGPT, the technical proficiency as the hard skill, and then you'll need critical thinking, because remember, ChatGPT, it doesn't think for you. You have to think before you ask it even a question. Then AI literacy, you have to have some knowledge about AI. Then you have to be creative for sure. Then data literacy, you have to know things to do with data. Then you have to know how to communicate, because it is sort of a conversation. Then digital skills and adaptability. Then results and discussion. If we continue here, we looked at the goals and the elements. We compared the goals and the elements. I think this is very easy for someone to go into it. It is the same as the previous slide, so I will not talk much about it. And the conclusion and the future work. In conclusion, for sure, we compared the intelligent tutoring systems. Take an example of Cisco. As I said, Cisco can provide platforms, and then we also compared it with the generative AI, which is specifically ChatGPT and case study of Moon University. Then we looked at the necessary skills one will need to use the generative AI. Then we were able to align generative AI and educational goals of teaching. Then for the future works, if someone should want to do a research more in the line with generative AI or ChatGPT, someone can look at the implication of ChatGPT on the postgraduate of university level. Like if I have graduated and I was using ChatGPT from first year to third year, I think I talked about it in the beginning. What is the implication if I reach at the workplace? Will I surely give out the results that I'm expected to give out, or I will just be doing things the way I would want to do them? Then someone can also introduce the concept of online studying platforms that do not have the intelligence capabilities. Take an example of that, traditional intelligent tutoring systems. Those are some of the references that we looked at, especially for the papers that we did, the 12 papers. These are the references. Looked at studying the effect of AI code generators for supporting novice learners. I think someone can go through those ones, but those are the references that we really looked at. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening in. I remain Ernest Byamukama. I worked hand in hand with Oroma Emmanuel, and I appreciate everyone for listening in. I was supervisor with Madam Helen Rauda. I appreciate her also. And a key takeaway from me that I can say, please, generative AI is here, and it can destroy the world, but it can also make it. So let's make use of it as it is, and for God and my country. Thank you.